And Butler right now is exhausted with 46.7 remaining. He's got 2 free throws to give the Heat the lead.
I don't know. When push comes to shove, I always remember why I do what I do. For my kids, for my family, for my guys who's around here somewhere. I know if I'm competing at a high level on every play and I'm doing things the right way, they have to follow suit in whatever they do. They get a lot of discredit because I get to beat Ernie every single day in sequence. You cannot beat me. Chris Brickley is always on a plane flying back and forth. I got Remy, I got Manny, I got an incredible group that keep me level-headed, that make my life not always just about basketball. And I got an amazing family too.
What can we say about Jimmy Butler that has not already been said? We've seen a ton of different players rise to the occasion already in this postseason, but perhaps nobody has rose higher than Jimmy Butler did in his first round matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks. Let me just throw out there that the Milwaukee Bucks had the 4th best defense in the regular season. When the Miami Heat lost Tyler Hero, they could have easily folded, but Jimmy Butler, Eric Spoelstra, and the Heat had other plans.
Martin with Giannis there. It's a 2.
This series alone, Butler averaged 37.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 4.8 assists while shooting a dumb 59.7% from the field and 44.4% from 3. This dumbfounding 37.6 points per game average would include a 56-point performance in Game 4, where he wreaked havoc all over the floor. It would also include a 42-point performance in Game 5, where he would score the basket that would send this game to overtime after trailing by as much as 16 points in the 4th quarter, which, according to ESPN Stats and Info, that is the largest comeback entering the 4th quarter for a series-clinching win in NBA history.
Over the top to Butler. Up and in! Jimmy Butler ties the game with a half-second to go. What a play call. Milwaukee had a timeout and didn't use it.
The decision to put Giannis on the inbounder while leaving the rim-protecting Lopez on the bench was interesting. The decision to pocket those timeouts was also interesting, as you quite literally can't take them with you after the game is over. Though hindsight is obviously 2020, I think it's more than fair to question some of the coaching decisions that took place in this series. But it's also fair to understand that your head might not be completely in coaching after losing a family member. During this series, Coach Bud would unfortunately lose his brother. I really hope that Coach Bud is good and that the Milwaukee Bucks are able to get over any frustrations that they may have at this moment, because it's looking like there are quite a few of them. But before we get into that, we have to talk about how Chime is making our lives easier every single day. Today's content is brought to you guys by Chime. Now, what if I told you that with Chime's Credit Builder Visa credit card, that you can start building credit with your own money simply through on-time payments and small everyday purchases like groceries, streaming, and even gas. Also, what if I told you that members see an increase of 30 points to their credit scores on average, and that this is thanks to Chime reporting your payments to the major credit bureaus in order to help you build your credit over time? With Chime, there are no annual fees, large security deposits, or credit checks to apply. Guys, signing up for Chime takes under 2 minutes and it does not affect your credit score. As a matter of fact, it should only help to bring you closer to your goals. Guys, head on over to chime.com/coop to get started. Trust me, you will not want to miss out on any of these benefits. Now, let's go ahead and knock out that mandatory disclosure. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by Stripe Bank and A pursuant to a license from Visa USA. Chime checking account and $200 qualifying direct deposit required to apply for the secure Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card. Based on a study conducted by Experian, Credit Builder members observed an average 30-point FICO score 8 increase after 8 months with regular on-time payments. Results may vary. See chime.com for details. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply except at MoneyPass ATMs and a 7-Eleven or any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Huge shout out to Chime for coming through and supporting today's content.
Well, they were facing a very difficult situation this summer, even if they had won the title, because they have, as Zach mentioned, they have guys in their 30s who need to get paid, and they have Giannis who's in his 20s who has a contract extension situation. I think it is unlikely that Giannis extends his contract this summer. He does have 2 years left, but with everything that's going on with the team and considering that there is new ownership, that makes it very difficult. And the Bucks are headed into the repeater tax. This is what happens to teams that are contenders year over year, and they spend. So everything on this team is about to get more expensive. Plus, we have new rules coming in that is going to limit the way they can improve this roster going forward. They are a late-stage contender with a superstar in his 20s.
Right.
And Malika, there are teams in this league watching very closely to see what happens with the Bucks this summer, notwithstanding a decision potentially on Mike Budenholzer.
Here we go again. In a weird way, it sort of feels like that 2020 season where the Bucks fell to the Heat in the NBA bubble. I say this because following that L, there would be extreme speculation about Giannis' future and that Bucks team in general. While I'd love to sit here and say that after that season that the Bucks traded for Drew Holiday and the rest is history, though they did win a ring, it's very clear that the book on the Milwaukee Bucks is not close to being finished. This book is still being written, and unfortunately the latest chapter includes another frustrating L at the hands of the Miami Heat.
Do you guys feel do you think you made enough adjustments over Jimmy over the stretch of this series?
We didn't.
When Giannis was asked if he wanted to cover Jimmy Butler more in this series, his response would be yes. Mind you that Drew Holiday is not a bad defender. Jimmy's offense was just that good.
For Miami, he has come alive. And they're up. No whistle.
3-point edge. This is to tie it.
Let's just say that playoff Jimmy Butler is not somebody that I'd want to bet against. This answer from Giannis is exactly the type of answer that I expect from a former DPOY and a competitor. But it does make me wonder why Giannis didn't get the opportunity to slow down Butler. Though Nikola Jovic's reaction to Jimmy Butler's Game 4 stat line is my reaction to the result of this series, at the end of the day, it is basketball. Things can be bigger than basketball, and these things happen. And when they do, people's jobs can sadly come into question. As we all know, coming into this series, the Giannis-led Bucks were the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and they looked legit for parts of the season, while the Miami Heat were a team that looked disoriented, out of sorts at times, and lacking talent. With the Miami Heat having to play in the play-in tournament, there was a legit shot that this team didn't even see the playoffs this year, which sort of sounds silly to say considering that this team had a conference finals run last year. To quote Giannis, they were playing to beat us and we were playing to win a championship. We were a little bit ahead of ourselves, to be honest. Though they lost, Giannis has been completely transparent describing his feelings and approach. And, well, despite his raw emotion and vulnerability, let's just say that this exchange isn't one that people saw coming.
Do you view this season as a failure?
Oh my God. Okay, because I'm not that up. You asked me the same question last year, Eric. Okay. Do you get a promotion every year on your job? No, right? So every year you work is a failure. Yes or no? No. Every year you work towards something, towards a goal, right? Which is to get a promotion, to be able to take care of your family, to be able, I don't know, provide the house for them or take care of your parents. You work towards a goal. It's not a failure. It's steps to success, you know. And if you've never, I don't want to make it personal. So there's always steps to it, you know. Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure. That's what you're telling me. No, I'm asking you a question. Yes or no?
No, I mean, I don't think so.
Okay, exactly. So why you asking me that question? It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. You know, there's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful. Some days you're not. Some days it's your turn, some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win. Some other people's gonna win. And this year, somebody else is gonna win. Simple as that. We're gonna come back next year, try to be better, try to build good habits. try to play better, not have a 10-day stretch with playing bad basketball, you know, and hopefully we can win a championship. So 50 years from 1971 to 2021 that we didn't win a championship, it was 50 years of failures? No, it was not. It was steps to it, you know, and we were able to win one. Hopefully we can win another one. You know, sorry that I didn't want to make it personal, because you asked me the same question last year, and last year I was in the right mind space to answer the question back.
When Giannis brought up that guy's job, I thought things were about to take a nasty turn. But the more that Giannis spoke, the more insightful and motivating that Giannis' answers started to sound to me. Giannis has a great perspective on the game and life in general. Like, I'm really going to apply what this guy said to my life, and I'm really thankful that he said it. There's a good reason that he's one of the most beloved stars in the league. Every season that Giannis plays is a W, not only for him, but for the game of basketball. I feel like Shaq summed up my feelings about this entire situation very well.
You didn't win, didn't happen. Is the season a failure? Yes. Are you a failure? Hell, MF, no. You're the best player in the world. But before you succeed, you must first learn to fail.
Giannis is a generational talent and one of the best players in the world. You literally have to build a wall or divert all of your defensive attention to him to even think about stopping him. You could also just have a Bam Adebayo on your team. To be serious, Bam's versatility is so clutch. Spoelstra made this guy the primary ball handler in Game 5, and Bam rewarded him by dishing out 10 assists. Yeah, maybe Bam didn't have the most mind-boggling series numbers-wise, but what he was able to do against one of the most dominant players in the game should not be slept on. To a lot of people, including Shaq himself, Giannis is a modern Shaquille O'Neal. While there are some drastic differences in play style, they do share at least one common weakness, and that's having the dreaded ability to go cold from the free throw line. Giannis is a much better free throw shooter than Shaq, but occasionally he has stretches that really make you scratch your head. In the final game of the series, he dropped 38 points, grabbed 20 boards, but somehow went 10 of 23 from the free throw line. 10 of 23 is a ways off from the 64.5% that he shot during the season and the 70.8% that he's shooting for his career. With this, the injuries, a coach who was dealing with something on a personal level, Jimmy Butler going off, and the Miami Heat getting hot from 3, you can understand how the Bucks would lose this series despite having the better roster. One might say that all of that happening and much more was a true recipe for disaster. Strictly speaking, from a basketball perspective, there's not really a positive way to spin Giannis and the 1-seeded Bucks falling to the 8th-seeded Miami Heat. While being an 8 seed and losing to a 1 seed sucks, and there's usually not this great positive takeaway, it's still not an unheard of thing. It's been done 5 other times in the history of the game. In fact, in 2007, the Dirk-led Dallas Mavericks would win a league-best 67 games, claiming the 1 seed in the West, only to drop out of the playoffs at the hands of the We Believe Warriors. You know, looking back at it, what a time that was. I really do miss some of those old stars. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that it could always be worse. Bucks fans, at least you got that recent ring in 2021. With that being said, let me know where you want the team to go from here. What adjustments do you think need to be made? Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.